Hey review family, keep it high, keep it tight. My name is Jay Morse, review guy, and I'm back again to bring you another video. And in this one I'm going to be covering the brand new Darkthrone release, Old Star. Nocturno Culto and Fenriz, Darkthrone. They were formed in 1986, one of the proprietors of the Norwegian Black Metal scene and creators of some of the most traditional and highly critically acclaimed black metal releases of all time. But that's not what they're really known for. I should say it's what they're known for. A Blaze in the Northern Sky and Transilvanian Hunger are very great releases in their own right, and will forever be held in such great account for the genre. But this is the band's 17th album, and they haven't just made 16 black metal albums before this. They've done black metal, they've done thrash metal, they've done speed metal, they've done power metal, they've done black and roll, they've done crust punk, they've done blackened death metal, they've done death metal. They've done so many different genres and so many different albums that it's always very exciting to see what Darkthrone's gonna come up with next. I didn't really like the Underground Resistance, I'll come out and say that right away. I thought it was a pretty good album from a production standpoint. I did like the raw aesthetic, but I thought that the harebrained attempts at incorporating heavy metal and just normal speed metal and thrash metal and punk and doom and stuff just really didn't work out in such a way that was very satisfying to me. And the mixture of like mid-period Darkthrone riffage on their 2016 album Arctic Thunder didn't really sit well with me either. It's up for debate with Arctic Thunder for some people I know, but I do believe that Old Star is the closest the band has gotten in a long time to sounding kinda like they used to. Simply put, without getting into it too much, this is a nice album, and it's a very good Darkthrone album, and probably my favorite from this decade. Actually, it's only 6 tracks and 38 minutes, so it's in and out pretty quickly. I think that Darkthrone does a very good job of bringing in some of that black metal aesthetic atmosphere that they really did incorporate earlier on with these brittle guitars and these brittle drums and these brittle wretched vocals that just add this like deafening atmosphere, this saddening, sorrowful atmosphere. Like I Muffle Your Inner Choir, I do think is one of the best tracks on the whole album, and the riff that kind of gallops along for minutes of the track, it does engulf a lot of the track before it descends in the latter half, but I don't really mind this riff because it just sounds so powerfully simplistic and it invokes so much emotion. It sounds so sad. It just feels so frigid, so ice-cold, so foggy, much like a lot of earlier black metal bands. But to be fair, I'd be lying if I said that there aren't still some of those influences that don't sit with me very well coming from Darkthrone that reminds me somewhat of their most recent material, such as on the tracks Old Star, the self-titled track, as well as the Hardship of the Scots, where they bring in more heavy metal and doom metal elements and kind of mix the two together. And it makes these two tracks sound a little bit sluggish. I can bear Old Star a little bit more, but considering the Hardship of the Scots is so long, it's very long-winded, and I'm a big fan of doom metal, and I do think it's a very expansive, nice genre, but this just feels so garish, it feels so overblown, so overwrought, and it just goes on too long without too much compositional change and not too much technique to really keep me that invested in the atmosphere that they're trying to build, which is one of the main things that I think makes doom metal and makes black metal so enjoyable. But I will say, in the latter half of the Hardship of the Scots, the way those black metal guitars and drums come through, they sound once again very brittle, but they're so slow that when they incorporate those doom metal elements with these black metal elements, it takes the punch out of this frigid feel that the instrumental kind of encompasses and slogs it down to just this mundane, tedious, trudging along doom metal riffage that just does not go that well together on this record. And that's the same for a lot of this record. Man kind of features this too, especially near the latter half, where they once again mix doom metal and heavy metal, and this riffage sounds like if you would have taken a Black Sabbath riff, but made it less innovative and made it less interesting. And I hate to say that, because the vocals are still great on this album. They're pretty much Darkthrone by the numbers. You're not really going to be that surprised or that blown away, but they're definitely not bad. Still very good for the genre that they're trying to play around with. And with this this album's short length, I didn't find myself sighing too much to be over with it, and I thought it was pretty good overall, and definitely my favorite Darkthrone release from the past 3 records that they've released. And if you like Darkthrone, or if you want to hear a black metal release with a lot of influences, I highly suggest to check it out. I don't think you'll be disappointed, and it will at least be an exhilarating listen from start to finish, although this isn't probably the type of thing I'm going to return to, because I think there's just better records that blend these genres together, and I think that in Darkthrone's attempts to blend so many genres into one, they kind of miss the whole point of what made their records so interesting to begin with. I do have a lot of respect for the band, and I do think it's impressive that they're constantly evolving, that this far into their career, they're still blending genres, they're still doing interesting things with soundscapes, and doing interesting genre blending, so good job to them for that. I highly suggest checking this album out nonetheless. I'm going to be giving it a 6.5 out of 10. And that is a wrap. Please stay for the end screen. I'll link some videos you might be interested in. Did you enjoy this album? Do you enjoy Darkthrone? All that good stuff. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Like this video if you enjoyed, and smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. I'll talk to you guys next time. But until then, my name is Jay Morse. I'm signing off, saying farewell.